Hey guys, Jim Collector back again with another unboxing and review video. Today we are checking out a third-party figure from 6 Feet Lane Studios, and it is of course the Penguin from the Batman 2022. But I'll be honest, I bought this after watching the fantastic Penguin show, which did a really amazing job at fleshing out the character of the Penguin and showing us his transition to really becoming that villainous, murderous scumbag that we all love to hate. So guys, without further ado, let's jump right into the unboxing. Alright then, ladies and germs, here is the moment we've been waiting for, the Barboss, aka the Penguin, and straight up, this is some damn nice box art. I actually really quite like this. This is well done. So obviously you've got Gotham all along here, and then the Penguin to the side, a bit like he's taken over the city, just like he does in the Penguin TV show. Guys, if you haven't checked that out, highly recommend it. It's what convinced me to definitely buy this, because it was absolutely fantastic. So this is version B2, as you can see up here. That means it has a pinstripe suit rather than the, I can't remember what the other one was, like a plaid kind of style. But down the bottom you've got the Barboss 1/6 scale collectible figure, and then a 6 Feet Lane Studio, although I do believe Mars Toys, I think this is a sister company to them, or the same company under a different name, I'm not quite sure. Then you just got some information on the back, 6 Feet Lane, and that is pretty much it. Let me see if I can get this open nice and gracefully. There we are. One thing I like about third-party figures is they always do have the foam inlays. Whoa. And there we go. This is our first look at the Penguin. You do get his jacket here, but we're going to check that out in a minute, so I'm just going to set that to the side. But let's have a look at the big man himself, and there we go. That is our first look at the head sculpt, and do you know what? Straight out the box, I quite like this. I think this is pretty good. We're going to punch into the details a little bit more, but just looking here, I think this is pretty decent. It's definitely not quite as sharp as a Hot Toys or an in-art portrait. It looks a little bit soft, but all in all, this is good, and I think they captured the Penguin's likeness pretty good here as well. It's definitely suitably ugly. Suit really nicely done, so you can see all the pinstriping down here. The tailoring looks good. It fits really nicely to the figure. You've got a good bit of articulation through him as well, which is nice. Not much in the shoulders, but he's not going to be doing too much dynamically either. Double bend there on the knee, which is nice. Good ratchet joint as well, so that's quite nice to see in that body. Shoes, nicely detailed as well. You can see the different texture from the shiny bit to the more matte part over here. The laces look relatively realistic, and the detailing is really nice. I quite like this. Moving on to the hands do feel a little bit on the cheap side, I'm not gonna lie, but they do look good and they fit the figure nicely, and the paintwork on that ring looks pretty decent actually. I quite like that. So yeah, first impressions, looks quite nice. I do think he needs a bit more padding though. He looks like Penguin's been hitting the gym. I think he needs, yeah, a little bit of padding in the belly, which is something I can probably remedy, although there is a fat suit under this. It is worth noticing. I can see it, and it's definitely a bit spongy around here. As for what else you get, I don't think there's too much. So you do get this bag, which is nicely done. It has a Velcro straps. Oh gosh. There we go, just like a real bag. So you can open that up, and what do we have inside? A whole bunch of money. That is a cool little accessory. I like that. From what I've seen in other reviews, like from Joey and such, it is printed on both sides as well, so that's really nice. It's a good attention to detail. That, yeah, well done. I quite like that. And of course, just like all set up like this, looks pretty epic. Beyond this, we have some hands, so we're going to get those out now. And these are all the hands that come with this figure, and you know what, they actually are relatively nicely painted, especially on these ones here. You've got a lot of vein work and texturing throughout it, which is nice to see. Good amount of detail on that ring again, so these are a lot nicer than I did initially think. They're quite bendy as well, so they are a soft molded plastic, which is nice as well, so hopefully they should be free from breaking. This one has a weird bit of a sheen to it, but again, it looks really good. Look how freakishly long his fingers are. Is that accurate? I mean, Does he have long fingers like that? I'm not sure. But these do look quite nice. Probably the worst one is this fisted one here. It's like the least definition or detail on that. So that's quite interesting. There are some seam lines on it. You can see a slight line on this thumb just here, but nothing too heinous. This one I've seen, this one's the worst one actually. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's not very nice. Look at that mold line on that thumb. It goes all the way around, a bit like he's had that thumb cut off and stitched back on. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but hey ho, there we are. Underneath this tray, we do of course have some more accessories. We have his Uzi, or is this a TMP? Guys, I am awful with guns. Someone let me know below. This is quite basically painted. I'm not gonna lie, there's not much, like at the front of the gun here, there's pretty much no detail. I mean, God, where does the bullets even come out of? There's like nothing there. So this from far away it looks okay, but holding up to closer scrutiny, it's not the best. And of course there's no moving parts or anything on here. So that is that accessory. We do of course get his umbrella. You can't have Penguin without an umbrella. And now this is all molded plastic, but it's really nicely done. The tip right here is nice and shiny, kind of old school and classic. I like that. And throughout here, it looks like real fabric, despite being a molded plastic. It's really nicely done. And you've got the nice wooden red, I'm terrible with colors, nice handle as well. It's really nicely done, this. Probably how I'll have him pose rather than that Uzi. That Uzi is a bit, you know. Then of course we have the base, and this is cheeky as hell, because of course it says the Penguin and not the Barboss. So I say cheeky, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I really, really like that. And you've got this nice, the Batman logo as well, but you can see I have some bubble in there, which is a bit unfortunate on the base. So this is a sticker just popped on top, and it's not perfectly done, as you can see throughout. It's got a bit of air bubbles going on there, but still overall quite nice. And I do like that it says the Penguin. Of course you get your crotch grabber, and then in this pouch here I believe we have a whole lot of drugs. And is it not iconic or funny that it comes in like a drug baggie? That's insane. Probably just ruined any chance of monetization there, but there we go. So these are actually quite nice, you know. So this is the pack as it comes. Lots of nice detail in here. Do you know what? I gave him stick for that Uzi. The Uzi didn't have a lot of details, but these are nice. Looks like real liquid in here, and it even looks like you can break them off from this little packaging, which I don't really want to do. But yeah, these are really nice. All right, guys, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna get the Penguin set up into a couple poses and take a closer look at all of his details. Catch you in a sec. Okay, so here we have the Penguin just standing up and down in his pinstripe suit. Now it is worth noticing that, or mentioning even, that this is the version B2. I believe the version, I think it's called B1 or version A, is a checkered suit, which is the main difference between these two. I'm pretty sure everything else is more or less the same, but this is the B version. And I do quite like the suit. The tailoring is done quite nicely, a little bit baggy maybe around the trousers, but then that's kind of how it looks in the movie and technically the show as well. But the one complaint I have about this figure here is that he's just not fat enough, really. He should definitely be slightly larger, especially in the Batman. He was definitely more heavy set, shall we say, than he was earlier. But all in all, he looks quite nice here. But what we're now going to do is punch on in and we'll check out the most important feature, which is of course the head sculpt. And here we have the head sculpt in all of its glory. And now I'll be honest, it's not a perfect likeness, and I think it's just because it's quite hard to capture kind of a rounder face in a sculpt. It looks slightly too square, especially from this angle, but apart from that, all of the features are here, and it definitely is, I'd say, about 90% on with the likeness. It looks really good. Now the sculpted hair is a little bit soft, yes, and some of the paint apps are a bit soft, but the detailing in terms of the scars, and I really think they captured the scowl of his how he has it as well, and his lips. I think it's a really nice sculpt. I would definitely say it's about 85–90% there, with some issues, again, more towards the roundness of the face, and it hasn't quite got enough double chin, I'd say, but definitely a really solid head sculpt from a third-party company. For the price you pay, I paid about 134 quid for this, that's shipped, you really can't complain. So now here he is in his jacket, and for me this is definitely how I'm going to have him pose. When I think of the Penguin from this Batman universe that we've got now, I think of him in his big leather coat, especially after the TV show. He wears that like 90% of the time. So this is a great look. Obviously I've got him posed up with his umbrella here and his, I'm going to call it an Uzi, it could be wrong. And this is a nice solid pose for him. I like how he's resting on the umbrella, and he looks so much beefier with the coat on. It really kind of captures, and I feel bad going on about it, but it really captures the fact that he is more of a heavy set man. Now the coat itself I think looks really nice. It's definitely a pleather material, it is not leather at all, so there might be some issues with it kind of deteriorating over time, but for now I do think it sits on him really nicely and it fits the body quite well as well. And we'll go through a bit more of the poses later where you can kind of see what you can pull off, but as a basic standing up and down pose, this is pretty good. Okay, and this is our second pose with him now in his coat look, and I absolutely love this pose for a few reasons. The first one is he just looks like an absolute boss. I do wish though, one con of this pose, I wish the umbrella would reach the floor. Maybe I could futz around with that a little bit, widening his stance, but I do like how this looks. Now, one thing to note, what I noticed in this pose is the ankle joints unfortunately aren't the best, and he does fall forwards quite easily. In fact, he fell forwards a few times on this rotating turntable a few times, so that is something to note. But the one thing I do like about this pose is he looks imposing, but also he gets to show off some of his really nice accessories, which are of course this watch right here. It's so well detailed. I absolutely love that as an accessory, and it's something I think I brushed over a little bit earlier on, but it kind of really pulls this piece together and makes it look a little bit more premium. And of course this review would not be complete if we didn't pose the Penguin next to the Batman, and this is my InArt 1/6 scale Batman from the 2022 film, and they pair up so nicely together, guys. I really thought there would be a massive quality difference, and although there definitely is, when they're on display together I don't quite notice it, and I really like this pairing. As you can see, Batman's slightly taller than the Penguin, which is what I would like. I don't know actors wise if Pattinson is taller or shorter than Farrell, but I think thematically to these two characters it works really nicely. And here they are both in a bit of a fighting pose, so this kind of gives you an idea of how dynamic you can get with the Penguin. Now he does have good posability, but the suit and the jacket definitely limit what you can do with around his shoulders. But they have a nice dynamic action shot here. You've got Batman grabbing his arm with the Uzi and putting it to the side before he goes for a clean punch to Copperbot's schnoz, which is unfortunate for him, but they do pose up quite nicely together like this. So to round up this review, and considering this is a third-party figure, I'm going to give this piece a solid 7 out of 10. This is quite a high score, I know, but I'm going off how impressed I am with a figure that only costs 134 quid. The accessories are phenomenal, with beautiful attention to detail, with things like the cash, the drops, and of course the umbrella, which was sculpted so very nicely. There are some downsides, like this kind of mold mark on the thumb here, which is definitely a letdown, and of course the Uzi, which is really poorly detailed compared to the other accessories. The tailoring is also something that's really impressed me. I think they did an absolutely fantastic job, and I would say it's pretty on par with Hot Toys. Finally, the sculpt. The sculpt is a solid 8.5 out of 10. Could it be a bit sharper? Yes, but the likeness is definitely there, and the paint apps are really nice. So there you have it, guys. That is my review on the 6 Feet Lane Studios Penguin from the Batman. This is an absolutely phenomenal figure, and I think if you really want a Penguin, don't wait for Hot Toys Arena. Jump in on this now, because I definitely think it's worth the money, especially at the price point that it's at. So guys, this has been Jim Collector. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. I hope to see you again in future videos, and to not miss anything, hit that like and subscribe button.